Have you ever noticed how there is a scene that repeats itself almost every night? You spend the whole day tired, yawning, feeling heavy, counting the hours until you finally go to bed. But when you turn off the light and put your head on the pillow, something just doesn't happen. Sleep doesn't come, or it even comes, but remains shallow, fragmented, unstable. Now let me ask you a very direct and perhaps uncomfortable question. What if the reason you can't sleep well is not insomnia, anxiety, or stress, but the fact that your body is not biologically prepared to sleep, even though you are exhausted? Because sleep science has made this very clear. Being tired doesn't mean you're ready to sleep. When we talk about how to sleep better according to science, the first thing that needs to fall apart is this idea that sleep works through exhaustion. The human body does not sleep because it is exhausted. It sleeps when it receives the correct biological signals. Sleep is mainly regulated by two systems: the circadian rhythm, which works like an internal clock, and the so-called sleep pressure, which accumulates throughout the day. Neither of them responds to your desire, your emotional fatigue, or how quickly you want to erase. They respond to habits, stimuli, and predictability. This is exactly why so many people arrive at night completely physically exhausted, but with their brains in a state of alert. The body is tired, but the nervous system remains activated. The heart doesn't slow down as it should. Breathing doesn't deepen. Thoughts don't slow down. And then that classic feeling arises. The body wants to sleep, but the mind won't turn off. Science explains that this happens because the brain only allows sleep when it interprets that the environment is safe, predictable, and consistent with rest. If during the day you taught your brain to live on alert, at night it doesn't magically change state. Another important point that sleep science reveals is that thinking too much at night is almost never the real cause of the problem. Overthinking is a consequence. It's the effect of a nervous system that hasn't entered rest mode. When the body doesn't slow down, the mind tries to fill that space, therefore trying to relax the mind by force usually fails. What really works is adjusting the biological signals that tell the brain that the day is over. And this is where science-based solutions for better sleep come in. One of the most important, and at the same time most ignored, is maintaining a consistent wake-up time. Science shows that the time you wake up regulates your biological clock much more strongly than the time you go to bed. Exposure to natural light in the morning is also essential because it synchronizes the circadian rhythm and helps the brain understand when to activate and when to slow down. Without this, the body loses a clear sense of day and night. Another common mistake is taking too many long or late naps, which reduce sleep pressure and mean that at night, the body does not have enough stimulus to go into deep rest. And perhaps the most counterintuitive point of all, trying to force sleep. When you go to bed with the anxiety of, "I need to sleep now," you activate the very alert system that blocks sleep. The science is clear. Sleep is an automatic process, not an effortful task. Sleeping better starts when you organize your day, not when you turn off the light. And everything I've explained so far is just the basis. Because even though we understand why you don't sleep when you're tired, there's still something that almost no one talks about. The silent nighttime habits that continue to activate the brain exactly when it should shut down. And that's what we're going to get into in the next part. Before moving on to the next part, I need to take a quick pause here with you, because if everything you just heard made sense, if at some point you thought, "That's exactly what happens to me," that already tells me a lot. So I want to invite you to do something simple now. Comment below what is the biggest difficulty you face when it comes to sleeping. It could be, "It takes me a while to fall asleep," "I wake up in the middle of the night, I sleep tired," or even, "My body doesn't turn off." Writing this isn't just engagement, it's you recognizing a pattern that many people live in silence. And I read all the comments. And if this content is helping you understand how to sleep better according to science, leave a like now. This seems small, but it really helps the channel to continue bringing content based on science, not guesswork or miraculous promises. The like shows the algorithm that this type of video needs to reach more people who are going through exactly what you go through every night. Also take the opportunity to subscribe to the channel if you want to learn real solutions to sleep better, understand what is happening to your body, your mind, your system to be nervous, and not just hear, "Relax," or "Try to sleep earlier." Here we talk about sleep, silent anxiety, the body on alert, and modern habits with depth and scientific clarity. Now stay with me. because so far you have understood why being tired does not guarantee good sleep and how sleep depends on correct biological signals throughout the day. But there is an even more critical point, which many people completely ignore: the nighttime stimuli that continue to teach your brain to stay alert, even when everything seems to be ready for sleep. And that's exactly what science shows below, and that it could be sabotaging your sleep without you even realizing it. Now that you understand that sleep does not just depend on tiredness and that the body needs correct biological signals throughout the day, we need to talk about something even quieter, and perhaps even more dangerous for those who want to sleep better according to science. Because many people even organize part of their day, try to go to bed earlier, darken the room, but continue to do little things every night that send exactly the opposite message to the brain. And the most important detail here is that the brain doesn't evaluate what you want. It evaluates what you stimulate. This is why so many common, seemingly harmless nighttime habits end up keeping the body in a state of alert, activity, and even survival, even when everything seems calm on the outside. Sleep science shows that nighttime is extremely sensitive. This is when the brain begins to make a very specific biological transition, moving from action mode to recovery mode. However, this transition does not happen automatically. It depends on environmental, hormonal, and behavioral stimuli. When these stimuli are confusing, the brain interprets this as instability, and instability, biologically, never combines with deep sleep. One of the main factors that hinder this process is artificial light. It doesn't matter whether you find the light dim, comfortable, or normal. Science has already proven that exposure to artificial light at night reduces the release of melatonin, the hormone that signals the body that it's time to sleep. And it's not just the light from your cell phone or television. White lamps, brightly lit environments, and even ceiling lights keep the brain in a state of wakefulness. For the brain, light means day, and day means attention, reaction, readiness. It's that simple, but the light is just the beginning. When you expose yourself to nighttime stimuli, videos, social media, intense conversations, news, important decisions, you activate the sympathetic nervous system, which is the system responsible for keeping us alert. This system does not know how to differentiate real danger from constant stimulus. He just responds. Every notification, every new piece of information, every strong emotion is interpreted as something that demands attention. And while the system is active, the body simply does not go into deep rest. There is also a factor that almost no one directly associates with sleep, but which has a huge impact: dopamine. At night, dopamine spikes put the brain in day mode. Infinite scrolling, short videos, emotional content, games, discussions, all of these keep the brain seeking reward. And a reward-seeking brain doesn't sleep. He waits. He remains under surveillance. He postpones shutting down because biologically, there's still something going on. Night eating also plays into this game in a much deeper way than people realize. Eating wrong at night keeps your metabolism active when it should be slowing down. Foods that are heavy, high in sugar, or difficult to digest signal to the body that there is still work to be done. Active digestion is incompatible with deep sleep. The body needs to choose priorities. And if he is busy processing stimuli, light, information, and food, sleep always takes a backseat. And here comes an essential point when we talk about science-based solutions for better sleep. It's not about cutting everything radically, but about reducing stimuli in a progressive and consistent way. Reducing intense light an hour or two before bed makes a huge difference. Swapping white light for warm, lower lighting helps your brain understand that the day is ending. Avoiding screens, or at least drastically reducing their use, is one of the most effective strategies for signaling rest. Science also shows that the body responds very well to rituals. A winding down ritual repeated every night teaches the brain, over time, that set of actions means safety and predictability. It can be a warm bath, light reading, calm music, a simple and repeated routine. Content matters less than repetition. The brain learns by default, not by explanation. Avoiding emotional content, negative news, or important decisions at night is another fundamental solution. The brain does not turn off emotions quickly. If you activate worry, anger, anxiety, or urgency just before bed, these emotions continue to echo in the nervous system even in the dark. Therefore, many people lie down in silence, but with their bodies agitated inside. All of this reinforces a central message of sleep science. The brain doesn't understand intention. He understands stimulation, There's no point in wanting to sleep better if nighttime stimuli continue to tell you otherwise. And perhaps, as you listen to this, some scenes from your own late night began to come into focus. If this was your case, comment below at the end of the video something simple like, "My brain is alert at night," or "I recognize myself in my nocturnal habits." If any of these parts spoke directly to you, also write, "This explained my sleep." This helps the video reach more people who need to understand that the problem is not a lack of willpower, but rather excess stimulation. Because in the next part, we will go into exactly the scientific principle that makes the body finally allow sleep. Now that you understand how nighttime stimuli keep your brain alert without you realizing it, we need to get into the most important point of all when we talk about how to sleep better, according to science. Because here a key twist happens that completely changes the way you see sleep. Sleeping well is not about forcing yourself to relax. It's not about emptying your mind. It's not about trying to control your thoughts. Sleeping well is teaching the brain that it can let its guard down. And this doesn't happen with effort. It happens with consistent signals. Science shows that sleep only truly happens when the parasympathetic nervous system takes control of the body. This is the system responsible for recovery, regeneration, deep rest. As long as the sympathetic system, that of alertness, action, survival, is active, sleep may appear, but it will be light, fragmented, and unstable. That's why so many people sleep, but wake up tired. The body never fully went into rest mode. He just blacked out for a few moments. The problem is that many people try to access this state of rest in the wrong way. They try to relax quickly after a busy day. They try to turn off their body from one moment to the next. They try to control sleep as if it were a button. But the brain doesn't work like that. It is a standards body. He learns by repetition, not by intention. If your entire day has been unpredictable, fast-paced, chaotic, and full of stimulation, your brain doesn't trust that everything is suddenly safe just because you lay in bed. That's why sleep science is so vocal about routine. Routine is not rigidity. Routine is predictability. And predictability creates security. When the brain recognizes that certain signals always occur in the same way, it begins to anticipate rest. He doesn't wait for you to send. He prepares himself. That's when sleep stops being a struggle and becomes an automatic response. The brain sleeps when it recognizes repeated patterns. Similar time, similar environment, similar sequence of actions. It doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be consistent. The more you try to control every detail, the more you activate the alert system. The more you trust the process and repeat the same signals, the more your body responds. Less control, more consistency. This is one of the most important principles for anyone who wants to sleep better according to science. Science-based solutions follow exactly this logic. Repeating the same nighttime signals every day is one of the most effective strategies out there. It's not just bedtime, but what happens before bed, the type of light, the tone of the environment, the final actions of the day. When this is repeated, the brain associates that set of stimuli with rest. Over time, just by starting the ritual, the body begins to slow down. Another essential point is to reduce stimuli gradually and not abruptly. Many people make the mistake of trying to go from a state of hyperstimulation straight to absolute silence. This creates strangeness in the nervous system. The transition needs to be progressive. Lower light, less information, less decision, less emotion. Every small reduction is interpreted by the brain as a step towards safety. Creating an environment associated only with rest is also essential. The brain learns by association. If the environment where you sleep is also used to work, solve problems, discuss or consume stimulating content, it loses the reference to what that space means. When the environment is predictable and consistent with sleep, the body responds much more easily. And perhaps the hardest part for many people to accept is this: sleep is an automatic process, not a task. The more you try to make sleep happen, the more it slips away. The more you create the right conditions and get out of the way, the more it appears. And the body knows how to sleep. He just needs to trust that it's safe to do so. All of this points to a very clear message from science. When the brain trusts, the body sleeps. And trust isn't built in one night. It is built with repetition, coherence, and clear signals. As you listen to this, you may be realizing that your problem was never a lack of technique, but rather too much trying. If any part of this made sense to you, Leave a comment at the end of the video with something simple like, "My body doesn't trust rest," or "Now I understand my sleep." If you want, you can also comment, "I need to teach my brain to switch off." These comments help more people find this content and show that you are not alone, because in the next part, we will continue exactly where we left off, delving even deeper into how to transform this principle into daily practice effortlessly and without radicalism. Before leaving, let me speak directly to you who identified with this video. If at any point you thought, "This is exactly what happens to me at night," then this channel is for you. Here we talk about how to sleep better according to science, without empty promises, without magic formulas, just a real understanding of the body, the brain, and the habits that are sabotaging your rest. So subscribe to the channel now, because the next videos will delve into exactly this process of teaching the body to switch off naturally. If you made it to the end, I really want to know about it. Comment a simple sentence below. It could be, "My brain needs to trust," or "Now sleep makes sense." Choose one of these phrases and write it in the comments. This isn't just engagement, it's you affirming that you understand what's happening to your sleep. And I read them all. And if this video helped you in any way, leave a like now. The like shows the algorithm that this type of content needs to reach more people who are sleeping poorly without knowing why. It's a small gesture for you, but it makes a huge difference for the channel to continue growing. And it's not coming out yet. Now watch the next video that appears on the screen, because it continues exactly from this point and goes even deeper into how to apply all of this in everyday life in a simple and possible way. Thank you for staying this far, really. See you in the next video.